Hey everyone, today's Saturday, April 22nd, 2017, and Aly and I over there, we are headed to our favorite place. And what is our favorite place?
Well, Tex-Mex.
Yeah, there's a trash can. I'm gonna throw this water bottle away. So yeah, we're headed to Chewy's, of course. It's 4:18 on Saturday, and of course we're going to church. But first we have to eat. Yes. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. You see behind me, we are at Michael's. So yeah, they have a sale, and we're gonna go try to find a shadow box to put some of Max's things in. So we had all that food at Chewy's, so we're not hungry yet. It's around 8 o'clock, I believe. It's nice and cool out here now. It feels great. We don't need the air on anymore. So pizza place is down that way somewhere, and we're going here to try to get hungry. I don't think I'm going to be hungry after we leave here either, but I want to go ahead and take advantage of this coupon I have from Michael's and get something for Max. So going in. So we found shadow boxes, but we don't know which ones to get or which one to get. That's for baseballs and footballs and stuff. This one would be better than the smaller one, and they're the same price. have a bunch of Max's hair. And I don't know how to preserve it. I don't know if you put it in one of these things because it's closed up, it would help. But it's in a Ziploc bag right now. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, this would be better though. The super small ones, they're the same price.
And it shows a dog on the front of it. And that one's bigger. I don't know. What all do we have to put in there? His leash, not his leash, his collar,
His hair.
his fur, a picture. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. We're gonna talk about what actually happened to him a little bit later on. We didn't expect to happen. We'll stay tuned for that. I'm gonna let you know exactly what happened. And yeah. I guess we'll look around here for a little bit because they close at 9 and we have to get hungry, and I hate to go all the way home and come all the way back up here to the pizza place. It's Blaze Pizza and it just opened up and we want to try it, but we're not hungry and it closes at 10:30, so we have to either goof off for a while and get hungry over in this neighborhood or go home and come back, and I really hate to waste gas to come back over here, but yeah, it just depends. So yeah, we'll show you what we get and how it looks when we fix it up. So Al, what do you think? This is gonna be good or what?
I don't know. I just had to taste it.
Yeah. Well, it's now 9 o'clock, so we had to get kicked out of Michael's. We had to get kicked out of Michael's because they closed, and we got the shadow box stuff. We'll show you when we get back. But we're coming here just because they close in an hour and a half, and I'm not driving all the way home and coming back here in 30 minutes. So we're just gonna have to make do, and if we're too full, we just take the rest home. So here we go. So we're gonna try this out. I've never been here before, but I guess we'll figure it out somehow. Blaze Pizza. Yeah. There it is. They have Coke. They have Coke for now. There? Yeah. I was telling Aly, I hope they don't have Pepsi products because I kind of want Pepsi and they don't, so that's good. I'll have water. Yay! Well, let's see what we got over here. Build your own signature salads and stuff. Yeah. Going up. So 180 seconds later, it's this.
Wait, your surprise or something?
Yeah, it's small, but I can't eat big old pizzas anymore. We're too fat. We are. I'll let Aly try it first.
If I could get off.
Here we go. Alright, Al.
It's better than some pizza places.
I want to try it. Hey everyone, we're back. First of all, Aly and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who had prayed for Max and who sent condolences in our YouTube comment section. We really appreciate it. This has been a really tough thing we've had to go through, and we're still grieving over his loss. He was a great dog, as you all could see in the videos, and it was unexpected, and we just can't believe this happened like it did. So we wanted to come on here to show you some of the things we bought at Michael's and to give you a little insight on what exactly happened. But first of all, we got the shadow box right here. And then I bought this paper. I'm going to cut it to fit inside the shadow box. So I think that will look really nice because it has paw prints on it.
And we have these golden letters.
I'm going to spell out Max's name to put in the shadow box as well.
I went with fancier letters just because normal letters were boring. Anyway, and we have this little bag to put some of his hair in. Obviously, we cannot put all of it.
This was his hair that I cut off of him after he passed away.
And these hearts to put like next to his picture.
Yeah, we're going to put a picture in there. We still got to do that.
And, well, we found this, and it's actually a collie, but it's the closest thing we could find to a Shetland sheepdog, so we gotta use it in there.
Yeah.
And one of his collars.
This is the urn that we were given with his remains.
And his paw prints, and
his paw prints are in here as well, but I showed you those in the picture in the last video. So yeah, very light. This isn't even halfway. Is it halfway full? It's very little. Yeah. So this is Max.
And we got this magnet to put somewhere. But I like this magnet.
Yeah, so I don't want to be on here in 30 minutes or anything. I just wanted to kind of tell you what led to this and, how this all came about. I guess it was a little over a week ago. We noticed that Max wasn't eating and he seemed to have constipation. That's like the first sign, right?
And we would give him his lassie treats. They are his favorite treats, and he won't even eat them, so we know something was wrong.
Yeah, so then I got to the point where he wasn't really drinking any water either. And Max, if you remember, Max loves water. He would drink water all the time. He would even come crying at me when he ran out of water. And it got to the point where he wouldn't eat or drink, and he started vomiting.
And he's not really responding to us anymore. He's just lays down and do nothing.
So last Saturday, I posted a video. We decided that he has to eat, he has to drink. He's vomiting, and we have to get him medical help. So we took him to the ER, as you've seen in the video, and they wanted $900 to tell us what was wrong with him, and I just couldn't afford to pay that. That was just diagnosis, not treatment. So I said, well, if you can give me something to get through the night, I will take him to the vet on Monday. So I went ahead and gave him the laxative that they gave me, and he did have a little bit of success. Aly took him out that night. Not a whole lot, but he did finally go to the bathroom, so that was good. So anyway, he still wasn't totally himself. So on Monday, like I said, I went and took him to the doctor because he seemed to be getting worse. I couldn't get him to eat anything. Last time he really ate any real food was like last Friday, and that was a little bit of wet food that I gave him. He usually eats dry food, but I gave him wet food because of constipation, because I thought it would make him go to the bathroom. But anyway, so he did eat that, and it wasn't even a half a can. It was, it was a nice amount, but he ate all of that, and that was the last time he really ever ate afterwards. So we took him to the vet. And the vet examined him, and he seemed to flinch when he reached down by his stomach area and he was, feeling around his ribs and all that, and checked his heart and
And he
everything.
vomited in front of the doctor, so.
And when he grabbed him down there, he threw up right away. And he was throwing up. Oh, I don't even want to go into, but it was bad. It was something like out of a horror movie. It was like,
yeah, it looks like he was
stringy,
choking on it, and this is
sticky, stringy, like yellowish,
white mucus. Okay, just to skip that.
It was really bad, and it was just like, he was just like choking on his vomit, and yeah, he did it in the car on the way to the vet too.
Mm-hmm.
That was messy. So anyway, the vet said that he would keep him overnight and give him fluids, just like a human IV bag, and then there's a little needle down here, and
you had to like put like by the
I got that for you. It would replenish dehydration because the doctor said he was somewhat dehydrated. So he was going to spend the night, and we were going to get the blood test results the next day. So we let him stay there and came home, and the next morning I called around 10 o'clock. I woke up earlier, and I said, no, I need some more sleep. I'm not going to call him right now. I got to wait until I get some more sleep. So what happened is I laid there and I was thinking, I was like, well, what if he needs a medical procedure and I need to call right away so I can have him start on the medical procedure? And, I don't want to waste too much time, because if it's something that they're going to do to him, then I need to let him go ahead and do that so we can pick him up later, So I decided to go ahead and call. So I told him who I was, and they went and got the vet, and the vet came to the phone. And Aly was at school at this point because it was Tuesday. And the vet came on the phone, and he said that he got all his results back, and he shot out some numbers to me, but I don't really know what that means. But he said it's very, very bad news, and I'm like, you can fix this, right? And he's like, no, I can't fix it. And he said that he has stage 4 renal failure, which is kidney failure. And it took me a minute to really realize what he was saying to me. And he was saying to me that our dog was going to die, is what he was saying to me. And, I was just in shock. I just couldn't believe it. And then I started bursting into tears and was crying erratically. And, it was really, really bad. And so my first thought was, how am I going to tell Aly that our dog is going to die?
And I was in school, and I called the first time saying, how's Max? And she said, well, I cannot tell you over the phone. And I said, why? Is something wrong? And like, I just can't tell you right now. And then I called twice, and I was actually having a panic attack because I can sense that there's something really wrong with Max.
So the second time she called, I told her I would pick her up at school. And so, in the meantime, I called her counselor at school. I told him what was going on, and then I called her counselor, her home counselor, and told her what was going on. So her home counselor said she would come by around 5 or so and be here, for her to help support her through this. And then I went up to her school, and I seen her, and she, of course, was wondering what was going on. And I said, we got to go see Mr. Westcott, which is her counselor. So we went over to the office. We had to wait a little bit because I didn't have an appointment, and he finally came up and got us. And I told him that I needed help telling her what we had discussed on the phone. So he let us come in his office, and the first thing I told her is that Max is alive right now, but it's very, very bad news. So then I proceeded to tell her what was wrong with him, and it didn't go well, as you can imagine. So to make a long story short, we left and everything, and we got something to eat. Then we went to the vet's office because I had decided that if our dog was that sick, and that, if there's any way that I could give him fluids at home, that I thought he should be with the people that love him, not in a hospital cage. And at that particular hospital, they leave at nighttime, so the dogs and cats or whatever's there is alone at night, so there's really nobody with them. They're all by themselves. So I was like, no, I said, we need to go get Max and bring him home so he can be with us. So, and I also thought that if he was going to eat, that maybe, you know, he would do it with us and not do it at the vet's office. So the vet said it was a good idea, so he said we could come on in and pick him up, and they showed us how to do this, and that you had to squeeze the back of his neck, and in a little indentation you put the needle, and then you would go down from, like, if it was on 9, and you would go to 8, and then you would take the needle out and then do it twice a day. So we finally got Max. It seemed like a while because we had to wait. We didn't have an appointment at the vet to pick him up, so we had to wait. There was other people there. We finally got Max. He did not get super excited to see us like he normally would do. He did look over at us and he knew it was us, but, you know, I guess he was too weak to get all happy.
He was too sick to do that.
Yeah, so, you know, he knew it was us, but he didn't show excitement or anything that we were there. So we told him we're taking him home and everything, and, you know, we finally got him in the car, and he peed in the car on the way home and everything, which he usually never did before.
Oh man, so I tried to get up in the car a couple times, like, no man, he has to stay down. Because he was wobbling.
So when we first came home, he wanted to stay by the front door. He wouldn't come into the apartment, and I figured maybe it's because he knew he kept vomiting and he didn't want to mess up the floor. So he stayed there for a very long time, and I am steady trying to force feed him food because the doctor said that if they can get him to eat, then he has a better chance to survive. But if he doesn't eat, then he will be gone within a few days. So I kept telling him, Max, we need you to eat, we need you to eat. And I boiled chicken, you know, pulled it apart. I even like shoved it in the back of his mouth to see if he would swallow it, and he did not. He spit it out. I tried bananas, which he loves bananas. He would not eat them. Tried Lassie treats. We tried them. He refused to eat, and it got to the point where he wouldn't even drink. So I was using a syringe, you know, squirting water into his mouth so that he would have to drink.
Like, I tell you that his gums were really pale, and I said he's probably dehydrated. So you try to get him some water.
So yeah, so in the meantime, you know, he's just getting worse. He finally came in the house and was walking around, and he came up to us a few times, and we hugged and kissed him and told him we loved him. And he was sitting between Aly and I in the living room and going back and forth. He could not sit still. He would get up, sit down for 2 seconds, get up, sit down for 2 seconds. In the meantime, he's got this heavy breathing, labored breathing, and his heart is going super fast. So, you know, you could see in the video, the last video in the bathroom, the kind of breathing he was doing. That was what was going on that whole day and everything. And so I had been up most of the day and night because I was worried about him after I found out his diagnosis, and I was exhausted, but, you know, somehow I knew that would be the last day he would be with us, because I could just tell. I mean, Max even kind of acted like he was saying goodbye to us on several different occasions. It was like he knew too that he was going to leave, and he was trying to tell us goodbye. And so the counselor came and everything, and we talked about Max and, you know, discussed about, you know, when it's going to happen and how we're going to deal with this.
I was crying for like most of the time.
I cried so much I said I can't cry anymore, but I've still cried since. So I mean, it's unbelievable, the heartache and the emotion, trauma, you know, to a person losing a pet, because, you know, he was like my son, you know, and like her brother, and, you know,
well,
it's
just
more
like my best friend, but yeah.
It's just that, you know, we expect him to come to the door when we come home, and he's not there, and I expect to have to look down when I get out of bed, you know, to not step on him, and he's not there.
And sometimes when we come home and it's dark, I'll be like, Max, don't jump on me if I cannot see you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really, we don't know how to act without him here, because he would lay next to us when we watch movies and stuff on Saturdays.
Or sometimes I would go to your room and say like, hi Max.
And, you know, it's a big loss, and it's hard to deal with. So anyway, that night, you know, we've both been exhausted, and Aly finally tried to go to sleep, and
it was only 2 minutes.
I was on the floor. I got on the floor. I had him on an old blanket that I was planning on giving to a homeless person. So while she went in her room to go to sleep and stuff, I had filmed that bathroom scenes and stuff, the last videos. I was
barely sleeping.
And you know, I brought him into my room. He was having trouble walking at that point. He was stumbling, and I brought him into my room and laid him on the floor on the blanket. So he was laying down there. I turned on some Christian music on my phone. I was singing to him. I got my Bible out. I started reading. I read 23rd Psalm, and I started praying. I said, Lord, please help him. You know, don't put him through this. You know, it was to the point where he couldn't even stand up. He would try to stand up, and he'd just go like that and fall. And before he passed away, he couldn't stand or walk, which was really hard to see. And I was on the floor with him. I was rubbing him. I was hugging him. I was kissing him, even though he smelled completely awful because he was sick and he had, you know, dried vomit in his hair, and I was trying to clean his hair off. And I started cutting, you know, hair off his paws, you know, and stuff like that because he was past due for a haircut. And I prayed and asked God to not put him through this. And you know, he laid there and he looked at me, and he'll close his eyes for a minute, then he looks at me a little bit, and I sang to him, and I noticed something happened. I noticed that his heart wasn't going as fast. It was still beating.
I woke up 5 minutes before you called me in.
Alright, well, his heart was still beating, but it hadn't been pumping as bad as it had been all day long. And then I knew what was happening, and it was like 2:35 or something in the morning, and I asked God for strength to stay awake because I did not want Max to die by himself alone. I said, God, please let me stay awake. I can't let this dog leave without us being there for him, you know. And God did give me the strength to make it. I had been up like probably, I don't know how many hours, but I was so tired I couldn't even hardly see straight. So I called out to Aly, and I said, Aly, hurry, it's time. And I then started noticing Max gasping for breath. He couldn't breathe, and I felt helpless because I just had to sit there and watch this because I couldn't give him CPR because he had bad kidneys. I mean, his kidneys were failed, and that's why this was happening in the first place. So, I mean, I just had to watch my dog not be able to breathe, you know, and it just hurt me. And you know, he was awake during this, and I'm telling him, I'm sorry, Max, I'm sorry you're going through this, I love you, I'm sorry. And you know, I'm like, oh Lord, please stop this, you know, don't make him go through this. And Aly finally got into the room, and I told her that he's dying right now, and I said, tell him you love him, get next to him, you know, just let him know you're here, you know. And so she got closer to him because at first she was just like shocked, and then, you know,
because he looks like he was about dead.
Well, he was. And so anyway, it was just a few more times he had, you know, it's kind of like a gasp, but then like that, you know, like there was no airflow coming to him. And I just told him, I love you, Max, I love you. And then, you know, he did it one more time, and then I looked over and his chest stopped moving, and I told her, I said, he's gone. His eyes were open, and we tried to use our hands to close his eyes. And I called the crematory and found out that they do 24/7 pickups, and so I was able to get them to come about an hour later to pick him up. However, you know, I knew that, you know, he would decompose pretty quickly when I read online, and that he would smell. And so Aly and I each carried a blanket out to our back porch and laid him on the porch there so that, you know, he wouldn't smell up the house. And we stayed out there and talked to him and, you know, petted him a little bit. And then at one point Aly noticed that he got really stinky, and his bodily fluids came out. Is that what happened? Or
He doesn't smell like pee. I don't think any poop came out at all.
he hadn't been eating, so there was no poop. So his bladder released everything that was in there, that was left, and then that was it. And the guy came. They were really nice. He said, you know, my deepest condolences, and he took Max. And a couple days later, we got the call that he was ready to be picked up. So
I was crying when we got the ashes.
I mean, the title is What Happened to Max, but we don't know what happened to Max. The only thing we know is that he had a collapsed trachea, and it had been getting worse. And Aly researched online that complications, one of the complications can include kidney failure. So the only thing that we can figure is that that's what happened.
Mary said had a collapsed trachea until he was like 3 or 4 years old.
All we can guess is that the collapsed trachea caused this. I don't know why we didn't have any major symptoms before this, because, you know,
On the collapsed trachea.
every stage of a disease or an illness is in stages. And
Wanda said this was excessively drinking, which Max was doing.
anyway, there's 4 stages to the kidney failure, and his was 4 when we found out. And, you know, other than him drinking excessively, which, you know, we live in Florida. Today was 95 degrees, so why would a dog drinking a lot of water be a red flag to anybody here? Because, I mean, we drink a lot of water. It's hot outside, you know, so to me that wasn't anything to make me take him to the vet for. I had mentioned several times before to the vet that he has a collapsed trachea, and they said don't worry about it. As long as he's not like turning blue in the lips or anything and he can breathe, then don't worry about it. So,
But he had the complications of it though.
so we don't know what happened. We just know that, you know,
The collapsed trachea could have been part of it.
this just happened just like a week and a half ago. Max was perfectly fine. You can look at the videos that were before this and see that he was perfectly fine, and now our dog is gone, you know. And it's hard. I mean, what we did afterwards is the next day we went to Petland and we found a golden retriever puppy, and we had him put him in a room with us, and we hugged him and kissed him and played with him, and it was great therapy. I mean, of course I wasn't going to buy him. He was like over $2,500, but I mean, we were able to love on another dog, and now we have decided that we're going to get another dog. Hopefully this week. I found a Sheltie breeder, which is the same, you know, breed as Max was, and she has 3 little girls. One is 4.5 years old, one is 10 months, and one is 6 months old. And we're just waiting for her to say come on out and see them. But, you know, probably one of those 3 little girls we're going to bring home with us, because we need something. This house is empty, and, you know, it's just not the same when you're used to having a dog, and now there's nothing here but us. And, you know, so we're gonna get a dog. We did look at some Bengal cats yesterday. They were 10 days old, very, very cute. But like I told Aly, you know, our heart lies with these dogs, and, you know, I love cats as well. But after having Max and stuff, I mean, nothing beats a Sheltie.
I used to be a cat person, but since I had Max for a long time, I became more like a dog person. So that's what happened.
So yeah, so like I said, we have all these dog supplies still. I have lots of food that was for Max still in the closet. He has a bed that he never used, and maybe another dog would.
And we still have a remainder of his treats left.
And we just got Max a new collar. He hadn't even worn it but a few weeks. And when I got, not that one.
I know.
It's a black leather one.
But this is the one he wore before.
When I got the Cher, I got the collar for him. So he didn't hardly wear it. So we can put it on a new dog because it's a size small.
Yeah, but we have planned to get like a new leash because
it's nothing. But anyway, we have all these pet dog supplies. We have no cat supplies whatsoever. So we are hopefully gonna make a video coming very soon with our new puppy, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm just waiting on this breeder to let me know it's okay to come out there. She lives in DeBary, Florida, which is maybe 30 minutes or less from here, so it's not a big deal. I just got to get the okay to come out there to see the puppies. I guess I can show a picture of the one. Oh, by the way, the Samsung Galaxy 8 Plus I got yesterday. I love this phone. It's amazing, and my other phone was garbage, and I finally got a new phone, so yay! Thumbs up to Galaxy 8 Plus. So yeah, we'll show you one of the puppies that she has available. This puppy is the one that's 10 months old now. So she says she still looks the same. Look at this face.
If you could see it, because of the glares.
Yeah. But this is Sprite, and she's a little girl, and that's her profile. But this was taken when she was 2 months old, and now she's 10 months old, so I'm sure she looks a little bit different. That's one of the prospects of, there's 3 dogs all together, so we might end up with Sprite. So we will definitely, make a vlog and show you as soon as we get our new baby. So yeah, I probably went way too long on this vlog, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here.